it is very embedded in our thinking process about the secondary and primary education that we need to keep expanding it and keep expanding and keep expanding it, because we don't have any schools. Oddly enough, we now actually have more than adequate schools in most parts of the country. There may be some parts of the country where we still need to build new schools, but actually, given the sharp decline in birth rates across India, there are parts of the country which have too many schools. So we need to get much more practical and get away from this quantity approach to building schools and begin to think much more seriously about the quality aspects of it. Building ever more schools is actually a waste of time in many states in the country, whether it is in Himachal or Kerala, probably very shortly in West Bengal. There are many places where there are simply not enough kids. So we need to begin to consolidate them and think seriously about quality, not so much about quantity. So that is about school education. As far as university education as well, actually we have actually built a large number of engineering colleges, this, that, the other. Again, we are building too much without thinking through quality. One of the major problems now is inhabiting these institutions with teaching staff. There are huge shortages of professors and faculty in many of these institutions, and we need to begin to, again, quality is an important part of it. Also important to it, and this goes back to our issue about urban issues, we have ended up separating our education system from life in general and our urban landscapes in particular. Now you may think, why am I talking about this? And I'll show you why this is absolutely critical. Whenever we build an institution, whether it's an IIT, IIM, whatever, we go and catch hold of another 300 acres, build a wall around it, and let whatever will happen inside it. What we are basically doing is separating out our intellectual life from the wider urban landscape. Now, think about the great cities in the world. All of them have great universities embedded in them. Think of Boston without Harvard, MIT, Boston University, etc., etc. Think of London without LSE and King's and University College and so on. Think of New York without NYU or Columbia. And this is how Indian cities were too. I mean, some of our best colleges are not large 300-acre. I went to a great college called Shri Ram College of Commerce. It's an embedded part of the city. Lady Shri Ram is an embedded part of the city. St. Xavier's College in Kolkata and the one in Mumbai are embedded in the city. They were a part of the intellectual life of the city. And yet we have separated them out and kept them out. This is actually bad for both the university and the city. There is no benefit to Kanpur from having IIT Kanpur there. There is no benefit to Kharagpur for having IIT Kharagpur there. Why? Because we have walled it off and separated it. Now, why is this bad for the city? Well, obviously, because the city does not benefit from the intellectual churn that the university brings. But it's also bad for the university because it is not interacting with the rest of the world. Right? Not just that, there are multiple levels of. So, for example, one of the reasons you have a problem with faculty is because we tend to think of our universities as factory towns, as if the idea is that the professors will go to teach, their wives will sit at home and darn their socks, and the kids will go to the local company school to study. That is not how life works anymore. What do you expect of the social or family lives of the professors? The way we are building our universities out in the boondocks is a waste of time. It is also a waste of time because the way we are going to impart education going forward is going to fundamentally change. Gone are the days where you could educate people till the first 20 odd years of their lives, and then they spend the next 30-40 years, go out and use that knowledge they had acquired to do things. This is not how things work anymore. It's all become about lifelong learning. Otherwise, what will happen is that technology will change, but the guy who's actually taking the most important decisions, i.e. the most senior-most person in the thing, is the most ignorant about what the current technology is. That world is gone. You now have to go into the world where you and I will go in and out of educational academic environments. And similarly, the academic environment will be continuously imbibing new knowledge from the rest of the world. In this ecosystem of interaction, these walled off institutions are a complete waste of time. So we need to rethink our education in a completely different way. It's not just about upgrading our curriculums in the current framework. The framework itself is rotten. And we need to think about this completely differently.